So, welcome to today's episode and to the Mindset Mastery podcast. And this is your host, Ahmed Assaf. And today we have an amazing new guest, Melissa Posey. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Ahmed. Great to be here with you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Actually, Melissa, I have a story with her. She's my mentor, and she introduced me to Bob Proctor Institute. And I would start to just tell me your story, how you start, because you have a nice chance, a good chance that you was mentored directly with Bob. Could you tell me about that?
Absolutely. Well, I was introduced to this material to Bob Proctor at a time when I totally needed this. I was looking for a change in my life. It seems like so long ago, over 10 years ago. I was having a life change myself. I was in a career that I loved. I was a kindergarten teacher, and I loved working with those children. I mean, I just absolutely loved it. However, I was not earning that much money, and my life change that was coming was I was getting a divorce. So I was on my way to being a single mom. My two children were small. So I had a lot of decisions to make. I had a lot of changes that were going to be happening. And here comes personal development. I started listening to Hay House Radio and listening to podcasts, and I started reading books. I read the book, The Secret, and Bob Proctor just stood out to me. He just popped out, and I thought to myself, there is something different about him. Like, he knew his stuff, and I started following him. I did a live stream when we first started doing live streams here at the Institute, like when Bob was in LA. And I signed up for a live stream, which was something I didn't normally do. And I did that. And I realized very, very quickly that if I wanted to change my life, I was going to have to do something about it. I was going to have to do some work on myself to be better, be stronger, like not only for myself, but for my two children. So at a time, again, I was a kindergarten teacher, all these changes were happening, and I jumped in and I did a year-long program on myself because, to be honest, like, I really needed it. I was not in a good spot. I knew I needed to work on my mindset, and taking the program with Bob and getting the mentorship changed everything for me. And when I was done with that mentorship, I became a consultant for the Institute, which is exactly, the role that you're in. The best opportunity in the world, in my opinion. It is a golden opportunity when you can learn from someone like Bob Proctor. He's your mentor. He spent 61 years putting together the best material. That's who you're learning from. You're also learning from me, but you've got resources and tools and, being trained directly by Bob through the material and through the Institute. I mean, I was just growing by leaps and bounds. I was growing my coaching consulting business. I retired from kindergarten, and then I made a pretty big goal that I wanted to work directly with Bob. And I did that, which was not a real easy thing to do because a lot of people wanted to work side by side with Bob.
Everyone wants that, yeah. I understand that.
Right. But I did that. I made that my goal when I was a consultant, and I achieved that, and I worked alongside him. He was my mentor for over 5 years here at Proctor Gallagher. So I would have to say, Ahmed, I'm a pretty good example of the material, how someone can go from getting fairly, mediocre results.
Just limited life, you mean? Limited life.
Well said. Absolutely.
Yeah.
To really taking off like a rocket. I mean, I was coachable. I was hungry because I'm looking at these two small children who, they were my why. They were the reason why I was going to go through all this, and I was dedicated, I was disciplined, I was committed
But
to changing
before,
my life.
yeah, that's amazing. But I would like you to talk about the limited beliefs that you were having before and the doubt and worries that stopping you and holding you back from your achieving your goals. Could you tell us more and how you overcome all that?
You know, they were coming in strong, because for a long time, when I was a kindergarten teacher, and my ex-husband, or soon to be my ex-husband, he earned all the money, and I didn't need to put a focus on money. I was putting my focus on being a mom. So my conditioning for quite some time, it was, you know, I was not programmed to even want to earn, you know, a nice amount of money. So when I decided to invest in myself, I can't even tell you the paradigm, it was coming in so strong. I mean, it will sit and talk to you. It will tell you all the reasons why you can't afford it. You don't have the money. Like, that's what the paradigm does. It tries to keep you where you're at. And looking back, I can say, I mean, it was really coming in. But here's what I did, Ahmed. I looked at, if I don't make these changes, my life will stay the same. And I knew that that was not a possibility. If I decided to stay where I was at, my you know, the house that the kids were growing up in, I was going to have to let go of that and their way of living. And, you know, I was looking at all the sports that they loved and all the vacations I wanted to take with them. And it simply was not an option. So that's how I overcame my limiting beliefs. For one, I had to decide, and making the decision, you know, like Bob always talks about, nothing happens till you make a decision.
Yeah,
And
because
at that time, yep, go
yeah,
ahead.
here's the first I want to tell the quote from Warren Buffett in one of his interviews. He said, like, it's always, you must always have a great mentor. Even he's as a very successful investor, and he's still having like a great mentor. And that was one of the main things that helped you. And there's always, Bob said he was having a one quote that change is inevitable, but personal growth is a choice. And you took that choice of the personal growth, and you need it. And everyone in this world need it. So nothing will change without the decision. And here's the importance of the decision. And you could tell me more about that.
I mean, it's such a great point. Like, nothing happens till you make a decision. And even though it was uncomfortable, my paradigm, you know, those limiting beliefs were really screaming at me and talking to me. Your why has to be bigger. You have to decide and know too that you are here to do more than just survive and get by. That's what Bob teaches. We are here to thrive. We are so powerful. We are limitless, but it's just really taking an honest look and being like, you know, am I reaching my full potential? We all have more that we could do. And something at that time, it was talking to me of like, you have to do this. I just had this really strong desire, like, Melissa, you got to do this. I mean, I didn't know if it was going to work, how it was going to work, how long it was going to take to work. I did not know, but my intuition, I mean, it was so strong. Like, Melissa, you've got to do this. And then I didn't think, I just jumped. I jumped into the program, and it took a very short amount of time before everything started changing for me. And then looking back, it's like, I mean, I was so grateful and so happy, and had to pat myself on the back that I did it, that I jumped, even when it was uncomfortable, even when those limiting beliefs were really coming in and trying to stop me. I made the decision and I jumped, and it was the best decision, you know, I ever could have made. It has completely changed my life.
You know, fear, it's always there. And with goals, there should be fear inside, deep inside. And this is something normal. If there is no fear, there is no real goal, no worthy goal, no worthy goal. But after all the decisions you've took, you've reached your goals. You have your dream house, and your kids are thriving, and you're having a abundance, happy life, and you're having new husband, and you're enjoying your life, the life that you really want, you're looking for.
Everything's changed. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, Bob would always say, investing in yourself is the best investment that you could ever make. It will change everything for you. And that's why I'm so excited for whoever is going to, you know, listen to this podcast and not just like listen to it, but hopefully after listening to it, decide themselves to make some changes to get better, because everyone can do this, but you have to have a desire, you have to have a goal. And I really like what you said about fear, and something that Bob always said, if he wasn't uncomfortable all the time and feeling some fear, he knew that his goal wasn't big enough. He knew he had to set a new
Exactly. Yeah.
goal.
Yeah. That's right.
And fear doesn't mean you, just because you're feeling a little uncomfortable or feeling the fear, it doesn't mean stop. It doesn't mean, you know, go back. It means you're just in different territory. That's all that that means. You haven't been there before, but we've got to keep going, right? And looking back, Ahmed, I can see there's so many decisions that I made where I felt uncomfortable, and, you know, I mean, it felt huge what I was doing and going after, and things I was leaving behind so that I could, you know, create this new moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
But after you do that so much, you realize that's just part of the game. That is the growing that we all are going to have to do if we want to change our life. If we really want to create that life that's big and beautiful, like you said, with abundance and prosperity and just being happy and enjoying what you're doing.
uh, our main aim, for me, I feel that the freedom of time and freedom of money. And you can just achieve that just when you're taking committed decision, which is based on a deep desire that deep inside of you, that moving you and firing you up every day, waking up motivated that I want to do that. And then being in discipline, continuous discipline to achieve your goal and make continuous quantum leaps in your results. Otherwise, year after year, you'll have the same results because you're thinking the same thoughts and having the same emotions and feelings. Nothing changed, and then you're having the same behavior. Your self-image is just, it's the same, and your attitude is the same. So your result 100% will be the same.
We are creatures of habit, and we are on autopilot. I mean, you can see from when you get up in the morning and go throughout your day how a lot of things you do the same every single day. And in order to get better and do more and have more and be more, we've got to make some changes, because like you just stated so beautifully, if we keep doing the same thing, then before you know it, a month has gone by, and then a year has gone by, and then many years have gone by. And Bob would say that's regret. When you look at all the things you wanted to do in your life that you didn't do, which you could have done, right? But again, it's all about the growth and deciding and making changes and having that goal and really going after what it is that you want.
Yeah, and don't say once I have this, I will do that. No, just take a decision, make a decision now, wherever you are, with whatever you have, just do it right now. Trust yourself, step out
Yeah.
and act.
So there's a wonderful little video here at the Institute that Bob did about committed decision. And he always said, when you make a committed decision, which is, I'm going to do this, maybe I don't know how right now, and the how is none of your business, as Bob always
Exactly.
said, but it's making that decision. this is what I'm going to do. When you make the committed decision, you jump up to a different level of thought. If you don't make the committed decision, that, you know, the limiting beliefs, the thought patterns will come in and they'll say, there's no way you can do this, you know, or you can't do this or that, which is a totally different level than making the decision from the place where your goal is done. That's where you need to make the decision from. You have to know, and this comes back to trusting and believing in yourself, which is something that's necessary, and work on the self-image, which is so beautiful. But we have to make the committed decision. You're coming from a different place, thinking about how you can make it happen versus looking at your current circumstances, which if that's where you're making your decision from, you will stay in your current circumstances.
Exactly.
And if you decide, you know, I'm going to do this, I don't know exactly how, but I know there's a way. And like you said, if you just jump, you will develop wings along the way. And also the ideas will come to you on how you could do it. That is such a huge turning point when I'm talking to clients, when they're wanting to make the decision to do something, but yet the paradigm is so strong. I tell them, if you can just go to that place of the goal being done and make the decision, different ideas are going to come in.
Sure.
And would you mind? I'd love to share just a little story about you,
Sure.
if I could, about decision.
For sure.
So I remember our first conversation, and it was a Zoom call. And you told me, this is what I want to do. I want to become a consultant. I want to run my own business. I want to help people. Like, you had a really strong desire to help people, and you told me you were going to do it.
Yes.
Now, sometimes, you know, people tell me that on our initial call, and, you know, sometimes people actually do it and follow through, and sometimes they don't. Now with you, within about 24 hours, I think it may have been less than that.
Yeah.
You messaged me and you said, Melissa, you know, I have wired my investment, you know, here we go. And I'll tell you, when people act like that, and again, it's one thing to say you're going to do it, but it's another thing to take the action and do it. You did it. And I knew when you sent me that WhatsApp message that you were starting and your wire was on the way. I knew that you were going to make it happen in a big way.
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate that. And I don't forget your directions to me. And really, at the end, every person needs a great mentor to succeed, because you can't go alone there. You need someone with you to unlock the potential within you and to unleash the success that really we have infinite potential within us. Just we need someone to light the road in front of us, and so we can move forward, because we have the huge knowledge within us. It's just a matter of just doing it, act. It's the mindset that we have. We have to flip the mindset. Just don't be a fixed mindset. Go for the growth mindset. And from that point, everything will change. Really, really, everything is amazing. Melissa, you're amazing.
Well, you know, Ahmed, I love what you just said about the mentorship piece. And I can hear Bob now. He would say, you've got to get the guidance, the direction. Mentors can see your blind spots, because remember, the paradigm, it's tricky. It will try to talk you into things, and it will do its best to come in and stop you, like we talked about. And mentors can help you see that and point that out. And if you don't have that, like I mentioned earlier, you can just be going on autopilot. You can go day in and day out and keep doing the same things. But when you have a mentor that you can ask questions to, when you're studying every day, and that's something that I do love about the consulting, is like, we're checking in with our clients every single week. They're able to ask questions. They're able to get into your energy and connect with you. And you can help point out and do so much good for people in order to help them make those shifts and changes. Of course, you know, we all have to be studying every day on our own and then doing the work. Now, what do I mean by doing the work? That is, you know, watching your attitude, watching your mood. What are you thinking about? Are you reacting or responding? Like, these are the things that mentors will help us with. And Bob, he had phenomenal mentors. He had mentors in real life. He had mentors through books. I'll tell you, for me, the mentorship piece was the biggest part, like listening to him and getting the guidance and the direction that had me on my path to where I am today. And I still have mentors, and I love to mentor other people. This is how we can shift and change.
Exactly, because I tried before just the free things and even reading the books, and even you tried, I think. You
I
tried the
did.
free things, yeah, but you get to a certain limit that you don't grow that much, and you need someone to show you the way how it should be done and the fastest way. And don't waste the time just wasting like 10 years just to know something. Just there is a mentors that really they are there to guide you and get you to the right way and with the shortest period of time because the time is limited.
That's right. And mentors, they pave the way. And that's what Bob did for 61 years. He came up with the best material that if you study it in a certain way, and of course, here at the Institute, you know this very well, it's all about repetition,
Exactly.
right? Because we could read something one time or two times and think, well, I've got it and I've heard that. Like, why would I need to listen to it or read that again? But do you really have it? Like, can you turn around and explain it to someone?
Yeah, teaching it.
For the most part, the answer is no. Like, you may think you know it, but do you understand it? And there's a huge difference there. And that's why the repetition with how we study material here, and then being able to be connected to a coach where you can ask questions and someone can see your blind spots. It's a different way of operating and studying. Mentorship is huge, huge.
Really, really, that's amazing words that you said. And I would like to start closing here and saying that what would you like to give as a message from as a mentor, the experienced mentor like you and a coach, what you would say?
Well, we've really talked about it all throughout our conversation today. Nothing happens until you make a decision. Like, make the decision after, you know, being done listening to this wonderful podcast today, that you're going to make some changes in your life. You're going to do something different. Like, if you're not reading, you know, decide, pick a book and decide that you're going to start to read. Or do you have a goal? Bob always said everyone needs help with, you know, finding their goal, really discovering that, making sure that it's on track with your purpose. But then why are you doing the things you're doing? You have to have a goal. Like, that's the why. So if you don't have a goal, start thinking about that. And you have to do the mindset work, in my opinion, every morning and then throughout the day. My message, you know, closing out today would be, decide you're going to create some new habits. Do something right away. Decide after listening to this, okay, I'm going to wake up an hour earlier or 30 minutes earlier, and I'm going to start studying. I'm going to start reading. I'm going to start looking at, you know, my environment and who I'm surrounding myself with, and make sure that I'm surrounding myself with people that are positive, that are growing, that are wanting to, you know, be better. Just decide, make the decision that you're going to make some changes in your life, and just start with one change. We don't want to put too many changes in here because it could be overwhelming and then maybe you don't do anything. But just decide that you're going to make one simple change and then stick to it and say, I'm going to do this for 30 days. And then you're going to do it for another 30 days.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's all about decision. Like that would be my closing out message is you have to decide that you're gonna be better, that you want to be better, and decide what you're gonna start doing differently.
So do it now. Take a
Right
decision.
now.
Whatever, wherever you are, whatever you have, just do it now. And nothing will change until you take a committed decision. It's all about your mindset. Really, thank you, Melissa. Thank you for your
You're
time.
so
You were
welcome.
amazing. Thank you for everything.
Thank you for having me, Ahmed. It was
Thank
great to
you.
be with you.
Thank you.